everybody. Welcome back to the Spoked Wheel YouTube channel. Today we are back with stage 7 out of 10 of the 2020 Giro Rosa that we're doing with Mitchelton-Scott and Annemiek van Vleuten. It's been a little while since we've done this series, but if you remember the last time out, stage 6, it was a pretty flat sprint stage. We ended up going with Annemiek van Vleuten as our sprinter because she had the best attributes on the day thanks to her race day condition. And in the process we finished third on the stage and grabbed a few bonus seconds. So it ended up being a successful day for the GC as well. I believe we're sitting in second place overall. I'm not sure how far back we are on Kasia Nieuwedoma, who is in first. I want to say it's something like 23 seconds, but I'm not positive. I know it's under half a minute for sure. But before we really get into the GC action in the last few stages, we have another sprint stage today. There are 2 Cat 3 climbs in the last portion of the race, but I would expect things to come back together enough after that last climb that we're going to see another sort of sprint finish. So our equipment and whatnot, pretty good. We need that aero gear for the sprint finish. And our strategy has remained pretty much unchanged throughout this whole thing since the beginning. We're not going to change it now. I think our in-race strategy is sort of going to be the same as it was last video, where we're going to pick between Gracie Elven, who has the 72 sprint, Van Vleuten, who has also 72 sprint, and then Sarah Roy, who has a 71 sprint. And then we're going to just sort of play it by ear and see who enters sort of the final part of the race with the best chance of doing a good sprint. Ideally, we'd like it to be Van Vleuten again, because if we can pick up more bonus seconds, that would just be perfect for our overall main goal of winning the general classification in this race. But if something happens and she's on a horrible day and one of the other riders with a decent sprint is on a really good day, then we'll try and get them the stage win as well. So other than that, I think it's about time to get right into it. If I remember correctly, this is sort of the last sprint / flat stage, and then stages 8, 9, and 10 are all going to be very influential in the general classification. A lot of climbing to do in each of those stages. So once we tick this one off, we're really going to get into the thick of it in terms of trying to win the race overall. So I'm excited for that. Also excited for this stage. See if we can't do another decent sprint and maybe improve on the lead out train a little bit from what it was last time, because I was a little out of practice. But yeah, let's get right into it. We are at the start of stage 7 as the first attempts at a breakaway goes there. So Van Vleuten has +1 to sprint and acceleration. Gracie Elven also has +1 to her sprint, and Sarah Roy has +2 to her sprint. So based on those improvements, I think it's once again going to be Annemiek van Vleuten with a 73 sprint and a 76 acceleration that we're going to ride for today. And then we can use Gracie Elven and Sarah Roy as our final lead out riders again, like we did in stage 6. So that also works best because Van Vleuten, out of those 3, is definitely the best suited to get over those 2 Cat 3 climbs in the best position out of those 3 riders. So also gives us, like I said at the start, it gives us another chance to grab a few bonus seconds and bolster her push for the general classification, which she is actually now 19 seconds back of Kasia Nieuwedoma. I think it was maybe in the 20s before we grabbed the bonus seconds from stage 3. that would make sense with 4 bonus seconds going to the 3rd place finisher. So it would be great if we could grab a few more seconds today. That would really put us in a perfect position, I think, going into the final few stages of this race. But yeah, we're just gonna try and survive over those climbs and set up a sprint train with the riders that we have available to us and see if we can't get another decent result. With 50 kilometers to go, everything is in a pretty decent situation for us. We've had pretty strong winds on this stage, 31 kilometers an hour right now, which of course plays a role in chasing and also the breakaway riders trying to stay out there. So they're at a very manageable gap, 30-40 seconds to the second group, which is just one rider, and then a further 30-ish seconds to the front group. There are teams that are chasing, so I don't feel the need to commit any of our riders to doing that and riding at the front. Van Vleuten still in a good spot, being protected by Georgia Williams, who is on a very good day and has a great flat rating, so perfect for that role. And that's about it, really. We're just kind of sticking to the plan, hanging out at the front of the peloton, trying to stay out of trouble ahead of these climbs, where we'll just try and stay up there with Van Vleuten, which shouldn't be too much of a problem because there's not really anyone who's a better climber than her. And then we'll just try and set things up for the sprint once we get over the top of that second one. Okay, so after going over the top of that first Cat 3 climb, there's a slight change in plans. It's really, really steep up at the top, so we're going to see if we can't go on the offensive with Van Vleuten. So we have Georgia Williams right now riding because she's so good on the flat. Then we have Lucy Kennedy in second position because of her great hill rating, and then Van Vleuten is sitting third. We're going to try and basically just ride with Georgia Williams to get in a good position, and then try and launch Van Vleuten with Lucy Kennedy, pretty much. I am slightly worried about the amount of distance in between the top of the climb and the finish, but it's too late to second guess myself. I've already committed to trying to do this, so we're going to scrap the plan to sprint and see if we can't go on the attack and gain a few seconds without doing that. So we're 1 kilometer from the summit. Let's get Lucy Kennedy out of Georgia Williams' slipstream, and let's be ready to attack with Annemiek van Vleuten. So Cassia Nuiyadoma's following the move. She's on our wheel, which is to be expected. But here we go. Let's attack with Van Vleuten. I wanted Lucy Kennedy to try and stay with them, which didn't quite happen, but that's okay. So we've got Van Vleuten and Nuiyyadoma in a group of 2. I don't mind riding in this group, especially now that we have Kennedy. Okay, so Kennedy, we need you to relay. And Van Vleuten, you don't have to ride anymore, but make sure you stay there. And we're going to use Van Vleuten's energy gel. This is working out very well so far. There are groups that could come across still, but it helps that we have Kennedy with energy here inside of 3 kilometers to go. Van Vleuten, get on Nuiyyadoma's wheel. Kennedy is out of gas right now. Slightly earlier than I would have liked because a few riders have come across here, but 1 kilometer to go. Let's open up the sprint with Van Vleuten. Brand is on our wheel. She's going to try and come around, but she's not going to be able to. We're going to get the win with Annemiek van Vleuten. That was perfect. Okay. So I'm very glad we changed our plan of just riding for the sprint because that was awesome. Not only did we get the win, I think we're going to get some time on Kasia Nui-Idoma for sure in terms of bonus seconds, if not a few seconds from the gap as well. So yeah, great finish. Shout out to Van Vleuten for finishing it off. Shout out to Lucy Kennedy for launching it on the climb and then getting back across and setting the pace to prevent other groups from coming back. And then also shout out to Georgia Williams for setting the pace leading into the climb. That looks like a gap to me in between us and the second place finishers. Let's see whether or not we've been given a gap in terms of timing. They gave us the same time, unfortunately. So Elena Cecchini finished second. She has a very good sprint, so that makes sense. Kasia Nui-Idoma was able to finish third. I think Lucinda Brand, it looked like, was completely out of energy because right when I started sprinting, it looked like she had the speed to come around, but then she immediately slowed up and kind of stopped like she was out of energy. And then Jolene Dorr, who won stage 6, I guess wins the bunch sprint, even though we all finished together, but she was the first finisher out of the group that was coming behind. So we will take our 10 bonus seconds for sure. Kasia Nui-Idoma grabs 4, but that difference of 6 puts us to 13 seconds back on GC now, which is absolutely perfect position to be. Nui-Idoma is still the leader, so her team theoretically has responsibility to chase and things like that, but we are certainly within striking distance, being 13 seconds back. And we've seen that even if Nui-Idoma can stick with us over climbs and things like that, Van Vleuten has a faster finish, so the possibility to grab bonus seconds in the next couple of stages as well is also there. So I think we're in a very good position after 7 stages. Okay, so looking ahead to stage 8 here, it's similar in some ways that this Cat 3 is probably going to present an opportunity to attack over the top and try and hang on until the finish. It's a short stage, only 97.7 kilometers, so it will be raced pretty quickly, I think. Let's see who the game thinks is likely to win. Van Vleuten and Nui-Idoma, no surprise. Lucinda Brand is also up there, which makes sense, given that she finished, 4th on today's stage. So, yeah, I think it might honestly play out a bit more like today's stage than a proper GC day, just because of the overall lack of climbing and then the distance in between this climb and the finish. But there is a decent descent there, so we can probably look to go all out on this climb, recover some on the descent, and then take stock of where the race situation is at and then try and go for the win. Should be another interesting tactical one. I think we might be able to use Amanda Spratt a bit more on a stage like this where it's a longer sustained climb rather than the shorter punchier climb that plays into Lucy Kennedy's hands more. But both of them are going to be very valuable allies in the coming few stages for Van Vleuten. They're the 2 best climbing domestiques that we have on the team, I think. Kennedy for the hills and then Spratt for the longer mountains. But yeah, I mean, I think we're in a really good spot. Like I said, 13 seconds back after 7 stages. We've got 3 stages left to turn it around, and I think that's definitely doable. So we will be back soon with stage 8 as we continue to try and turn things around and get the overall win. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I appreciate all the support and all the views and comments and likes. Helps me personally stay motivated to make more videos, and then it also just overall helps the channel in terms of getting videos out there. So I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the video and you're new here, feel free to drop a subscription. I'm working to put out Pro Cycling Manager videos on a regular basis. And yeah, other than that, just thanks again for watching, and I will see you again next time with Stage 8 as we continue looking for the overall victory in the Giro Rosa.